Hi, it's Carissa with Big Mouth Charisma. I've got a clean face now, so I'm ready to put my skincare on, and let's get into today's look. I'm going to use a trio of ShadowSense colors, including Whisper Pink, Mulberry, and Smoked Topaz Shimmer. It's going to be a really pretty look with a nice, bright, bold lip, and even gilded liner today. And we're going to make sure I look nice and bronzy, summer sun-kissed sort of thing. And if you want to see how it turns out, you just keep watching. My skincare is now complete. I've got a basic layer of foundation on, and now I'm just smoothing out my under eye so my concealer doesn't crease and it has a good chance to set. I'm starting with Whisper Pink on my eyelids. I also like to smooth it out a little bit with my fingers. It helps to get it meshed into my skin really nicely and gives it time to set and dry before I move into the next color. I'm putting Whisper Pink all the way up to my brow. Even though that looks a little bit silly, it's going to be a really good transition. It's going to be my highlight, and I'm even going down a little bit onto my temple area, just because if it rubs off, it's okay. It'll be a good transition. Now, blush sense. This is bronze. I like to put this on my sunny spots, and I'm using my blush brush to kind of smooth it in and make sure it looks fairly natural. Even though it is quite bright looking, it does look fairly natural when you see me in person. And I'm putting what was left over on my palette onto my cheeks because I like a little sun-kissed look on my cheek as well. I'm doing a bit more blending than I typically do with my blush scents. Now I'm going to move on to my cheek color, which will be Pouty Pink and Pinkberry mixed together. Because Pinkberry is so pink, I decided to tone it down just a little bit with Pouty Pink, but as you can see, it's still a very bright pink color. I really like bright cheeks, but I am going to do quite a bit of blending here because I did go quite heavy on my blush scents. I think it looks nice, but I could have gone a little bit lighter. It's nice for pictures to be sure that your makeup really highlights your face and accentuates what you want, but for an everyday look, this might be a little bit on the heavy side. So now I'm blending some of the leftover product on the blush brush around different parts of my face to kind of make it a little bit more cohesive. Now I've added a bit of what was left over as far as the blush scents onto the lower part of my chin, and I think that was not necessarily a great idea. So now I'm going back in with just a little bit of light color correcting tinted moisturizer to lighten up this area and then blend again. You can kind of make the things work as you're going along. So now I'm concealing a little bit better some of my blemishes, just trying to make everything look as cohesive as possible, and then adding just a little bit of candlelight down the center of my nose and up into the center of my forehead and blending it in with this brush just to make sure it is looking as flawless as I can possibly look in the short amount of time that I'm doing my makeup. All right, now we're getting back into the eyes. The Whisper Pink has had plenty of time to set. Now I'm going in with Mulberry, which is going to go up to the brow bone area and sort of fade into that Whisper Pink. I'm using an angled brush because it gives me a really good amount of control. And now I'm in with the blending brush to smooth the two colors together so that it doesn't look like a harsh line. Now I've added a little bit more color and I blend it in again. Just take your time with this. You can always add more color, but if you try to do this really quickly, it will kind of turn out messy. It's better to take your time and little by little add some layers. I'm using what was left of the Whisper Pink to re-highlight the inner corner, making sure the Mulberry looks perfect. And now I'm in with this pencil type brush. It's kind of a stiffer brush and it gives me a lot of control. It's not very flexible. It is pretty stiff, but it will get into the crease pretty nicely. And now I'm applying that Smoked Topaz Shimmer. Do a little blending. And then we can add just a little bit more, and we're going to just layer on just a bit more so that it is more dramatically dark in that corner. And then just do some blending. You can do windshield wiper motions. You can do circular motions. It was getting pretty hot in my bathroom at this point, so I felt like the humidity was kind of messing with the way things blended together, but I was able to make it work. I started to get concerned that I was going to be over blending because of how warm it was in the bathroom. But it's looking pretty good, even all around. Now let's get in there with some Gilded Eye Sense. This is a great eyeliner with a little bit of sparkle to it. It will last all day. It does take a little bit of time for it to dry. And I do like to shake it up before I put it on because it does have glitter in it. So I like to make sure all the particles are thoroughly mixed. I'm not going quite all the way to the inner corner of my eye, but I'm coming really close. A little more than 2/3 of the way. I don't wear eyeliner a lot because I think it diminishes the look of my eyelashes. So I always try to keep a medium to thinner eyeliner line when I am wearing it. And I always try to take my time because I'm not that great at applying liner, and I always tend to end up doing a winged liner whether I wanted to or not. So I just take my time to try to make sure that they look basically even and the same. I might have gotten a little wild, but it's actually pretty easy to just do a quick correction with a dry Q-tip. You can just kind of soak up what is wet there or rub it away. Now I'm just making sure it's as smooth looking and as pigmented as I want it. I did all right. Just a really quick lash curl because now I'm in a hurry and I just want to get the job done. Oh, whoops, dirty. But that's okay, we can get that off. One nice coat of brown lash sense. Make sure that all my lashes are nice and dark. Now I'm going over it with Undersense, which bulks them up and makes them longer, fuller, thicker. I like to comb through my lashes sometimes with a spare spoolie with no product on it, just to make sure everything stays separated and looks nice, doesn't get too clumpy. Our mascara does a really good job of not getting too clumpy, but when you want to apply extra because you're wearing a liner, sometimes it helps to brush through your lashes. All right, LipSense time. Give it a good shake. Clean, dry lips. Exfoliated is a good idea too. Give it a nice smooth surface. Now, as I started to apply this, I had a lot of product on the wand. So as you can see, I'm just kind of like trying to smooth it out and using, an untraditional technique to apply with a LipSense because I had such a large amount of product on the wand to begin with. But you can go ahead and play with your LipSense. It's your lip color. Use the guidelines as best you can, but you'll get a feel for it. You want to apply 3 layers, thin as possible. Give it time to dry in between. This is Fleur de Lisa, and I love this color. Remember how I said it was hot in my bathroom? This also helps to dry my LipSense nice and quick too. Now a layer of Glossy Gloss. I like to smush it in and add a little extra, especially on the Cupid's bow area. I'm pretty satisfied with this look today. Nice and springy, glamorous, but not too outrageous. Thanks for watching. Find me all over on social media as Big Mouth Charisma.